rest day is upon us, and we have had a relaxing day today. That's good to see everybody out there. I think we're going to talk about our nutrition a little bit and the way we're going to go here at the end of the month. So, first comes to first, let's talk about where we are and what our numbers look like today. So, today, when I stepped on the scale, I was 201.1 pounds. That is 0.7% drop from where I was at. So a little over half pound that we lost last week. Still making steady declines. It's just starting to slow down a little bit, which is normal. Every 3-month phase towards the end of it starts to slow down. You got to reassess, reevaluate calories, and decide what the best course of action is for yourself, right? So with that being said, we are down to also 13.8% body fat, I believe it was. So 13.8% body fat. And yeah, I mean, we're moving in the right direction. Everything is trending in the right direction. Of course, when I look at my last pump check, it was starting to get pretty freaky. Very close. The abs are starting to come in. We're very, very close to being where we want to be at. I would say, from my estimation, around 10 pounds away from 10% body fat or so. And that's the goal, right? So that's what we're still aiming for. We're not going to change the goal. But what we are going to change is our carb cycling I'm going to disrupt carb cycling, and I'll tell you why. So on the 25th, Christmas, we're going to go down to my mom's house, and we are going to be doing a dinner there. And so it's just kind of throwing a wrench in everything because it's on Wednesday. My normal day off is on Thursday. If I tried to adjust the carb cycling so that I could eat more on that Wednesday, then that's only going to give me 3 days of low carb days, and then automatically into a high carb day. And then if I switch it up where I take 4 days for low carb days like I have been doing, then that means that I'm only going to get 1 day of high carb day, and then 1 day of high carb, and then we'll be back down to low carb so that we can hit that 4-day mark low carb. And it takes about 3 days to deplete your body of the glycogen that it has, and that's the whole point of doing the carb cycling. Is you have a high carb day to replenish your glycogen. So 3 days that are high carb days, and that allows you to replenish your glycogen within those 3 days. Within the first 2 days, really, but we had the third day on for good measure. Then you deplete your glycogen with the low carb days for the next 4 days. Then on that fourth day, the third day really is when you're depleted by. And the fourth day, again, is just for good measure. So by that fourth day, when we do our weigh-in on that fourth day, our body has rid itself of excess water that it might have been holding on to because of the carbohydrates that we had ingested and the glycogen in our system. So it allows us to flush that water out. So when we get a weight, we get a more accurate weight, right? And that was the whole idea and the whole point behind carb cycling. Calorie restriction is the only thing we needed to lose weight. The carb cycling is just simply giving us a better idea of where we are uh, body fat wise, because we have utilized the excess water in our system so that we're more accurately measuring our body fat when we step on the scale. That's the theory behind it. And also, whenever you're taking your body fat readings with your monitor, you're also getting a more accurate reading because it, the electricity doesn't have as much water and liquid to travel through to give you that reading. So that's the ideology and thought process behind the carb cycling and why we do the carb cycling and what it does. I mean, to some degree, we go into a bit of ketosis, and we may utilize a little bit more body fat in that state. But I think your body catches up with it towards the end of the carb cycling diet, like ours has, and makes up for it because it slows down your energy output because you're not fueling it with carbohydrates, which is its preferred source of energy. So you don't burn as much fat at the end of the carb cycling diet as you did at the beginning of the carb cycling diet. So anyway, the plan was to go all the way through December 30th or 31st, whatever, carb cycling. But with the holiday coming up, going out of town, all that kind of good stuff, it makes a lot more sense for us to simply set our calorie intake at 1,800 calories and then utilize that from this point forward. And I did some math, and I'm going to throw it up on the screen here, and then I'm going to talk you through the thought process of the math, and then we'll come back and close out this video.
Okay, so the first thing we wanted to do is figure out how many calories that we need to be at maintenance if we were 190 pounds. So at 190 pounds, body fat percentage is probably going to be somewhere around 10% body fat, but I figured my calculations at 12% body fat just to be safe, and that brings me to 3,100 maintenance calories. Now that we know what our maintenance calories are to maintain 190 pounds, we can go ahead and figure the rest of our math. So we have 2,161 calories on our high calorie days during carb cycling. And we got 3 of those days a week. So if we take the 2,161, we multiply that by 3, we get 6,483 calories. On low calorie days, we have 1,610 calories, and we got 4 low calorie days per week. So if we multiply 1,610 by 4, we get 6,440 calories. If we take the 3 high calorie days and the 3 low calorie days and we add those together, we get a total calorie count of 12,923 calories that we carb cycle throughout the week. Now if we figure out what the 7-day average of that is, we're just simply going to take 12,923 and we're going to divide that by 7, and that gives us a total of 1,846 calories on average per day when we're carb cycling. So if we say we're going to eat 1,812 calories per day, right? Which knocks us down to 1.5 pound per week of weight loss. That's the reason that's how I came up with that number. And we take 1,812 daily calories, we multiply that by 7, we got 12,684 calories that we're eating when we do a straight calorie consumption across the week without any cycling, just straight calorie consumption. If you subtract that from the 12,923 calories during carb cycling, you get a total of negative 239 calories. In other words, you're going to consume 239 calories less with a straight deficit per week than you would cycling. So, if we take December and we look at how many days we have left, right? We know we have 7 days of low calories remaining, and we got 6 days of high calories remaining. So 7 days of low calories is 11,270 calories, and then the 6 days of high calories is 12,966 calories. We add those together for a total of 24,236 calories for carb cycling if we carb cycle through the rest of December. Now, if we eat straight on December 25th at our maintenance calories so that we can enjoy a little more food, have a little bit more fun on that day, I have a bit of a cheat day, right? Then we can take the 1,610 calories that we would be consuming normally on that day. We can subtract that from the 3,100 calories, giving us a total of 1,490 additional calories that we would eat if we had this cheat day. And if we add that 1,490 extra calories, we're going to get 25,726 total calories for the remainder of December altogether. Now, if we look at our straight calories and we see how we figure that, and we say, okay, well, we have 21,744 remaining straight calories at 1,812 calories a day. If we add our cheat day at 3,100 calories, subtract the 1,812 calories that we were already going to eat that day, that gives us 1,288 extra calories that we need to add on top of it. Right? We're going to take and that's going to give us a grand total of 23,032 total straight calories that we would consume throughout December. Now, if we take the 25,726 cycling calories and we subtract that from the 23,032 straight calorie consumption, it gives us 2,694 more restricted calories with a straight calorie consumption than we would have if we finished out calorie cycling. So, when we figure the difference here, we take 1,694, divide that by 5,000 calories in a pound, which equals 2,306 calories, right? And that winds up being a 0.46 pounds of extra weight loss that we'll see by not cycling calories with the added cheat day. So after running these numbers, it's obvious that my best method to end this month strong is going to be to adjust my calories to 1,812 calories. That also puts me at a 1.5 pound weight loss per week, which is what we were running for the majority of this 90-day cycle before things started to slow down. Backs everything off a little bit, and it just provides us with a bit of a larger calorie deficit to help us reach our goal of hitting 200 pounds by the end of the month. So if we can lose an extra half pound, it makes sense to do so, especially being things have slowed down, right? So that's the plan. We're moving to a straight calorie consumption at 1,812 calories a day. We're going to have one cheat day on December 25th where we will eat 3,100 calories that day. And then we'll finish the year off with 1,812 calories every single day besides the 25th. And that will provide us with an additional 0.46 pounds of weight loss at the end of this month. All right, so first let's take a look at this strategy that we have outlined. So this provides us with our bulk at 190 pounds. If we wanted to bulk to a half pound per week, that would have us at 3,450 calories. Our protein intake at 259 grams. Carbohydrates at 431 grams. And total fats at 77 grams. All right, so let's look at how these numbers came about. Right, so the daily calorie goal of 3,450 calories, right, we want to make sure we're ingesting 30 grams of fiber per day just to keep ourselves regular, help us have good gut biome, so on and so forth. We have our protein goal set at 30%, right? That's the 30%, that's 259 grams of protein, and that's going to overshoot the 1 gram per pound rule, and we're okay with that. We'd rather have more grams of protein than less. Then our carbohydrates, we have those at 50%, and really what we did is we said, okay, well, let's get 20% fats at 77 grams, and then fill the rest in with carbohydrates, which wound up being 50%. So that's how we came up with this bulking schedule. So the next thing we want to look at is our cutting schedule, right? So when we cut, we're looking to lose 1.5 pounds per week. That puts us in a calorie deficit of 1,812 calories per day. Gives us a total protein goal of 199 grams of protein, which is 44% of our caloric intake. Then our fat goal of 20%, which is 40 grams. And then our carb goal is going to be the remainder, right? So that's going to be the 163 grams of protein, 36% of our daily goal. And then we want 30 grams of fiber. Again, keep good gut biome, keep us regular, so on and so forth. Always want to make sure that we're eating our fiber, super healthy. And a lot of people do not pay attention to their fiber the way they should. So make sure you're eating your fiber properly. And last but not least is our maintenance calories. So we want to maintain 190 pounds. To maintain 190 pounds at 6 foot tall and around 12% body fat, we would need to eat 3,100 calories per day. Our protein goal is going to be 30% of that, which is 2,033 grams of protein per day. Our carbohydrate goal is going to be the remainder after we set our fat goal at 20%, which is 69 grams of protein. Making our carbohydrate goal 50% of our protein, of our caloric intake at 388 grams of carbohydrates. And again, we want to make sure we're hitting 30 grams of fiber so that we can make sure we're ingesting the proper amount of fiber to keep our gut biome working properly and to also keep us regular and so on and so forth. So that's how we figured maintenance, which will keep us the same size forever if we eat 3,100 calories once we get to that weight.
So as you can see, it makes more sense for us to end the calorie cycling at this point and finish the month out strong with a straight calorie deficit for the remainder of the days that we have left in December, allowing ourselves a singular cheat day on December 25th where we eat at maintenance calories, and that will allow us to actually lose about a half pound more than we would be able to lose without or with carb cycling. So that's what we're going to do to finish strong. We are almost to 200 pounds. So I feel like if we have this extra half pound that we're throwing in, we have our calorie adjustment set at 1.5 pounds per week. So that would be 3 pounds that we would be able to lose by the end of December. And we'll say 3.5 pounds with the extra half pound added into that, plus our cardio, plus our weightlifting, so on and so forth. It just makes a lot more sense for us to eat at a straight calorie deficit and finish off the month of December very strong and try to get to this 200-pound goal that we have or below. We are only a pound away from it. We're 1.1 pounds away from seeing 200 even on the scale, or 199.9, which would be amazing. I mean, that's what we're looking for, right? And when we set out 3 months ago, that was the goal, to get down to 200 pounds. If we carb cycle, then we would lose about 2 more pounds. So that would still get us to 199. But getting down to like 198, we might see 199 on the scale, right? Or 200 on the scale if we're really, in all actuality, at 198 and we got a little bit of water weight in us. So it just makes more sense for us to finish off this month strong with a straight calorie deficit. And that's what we're going to do. My thoughts on carb cycling are this. When you first start carb cycling, if you've been dieting for a very long time, it's very motivating. Because on the weekends, when you get to have more calories, you feel like you're not dieting because you're able to add in cookies and pizza and hamburgers and all these things that you haven't been able to add in on a straight calorie deficit for quite some time. On the days that you are low calorie, it feels very restrictive but you're okay with it because you know when the weekend comes, you're going to get some more calories. You're going to be able to reward yourself for getting through those 4 very restrictive low calorie days. And the way I set it up, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, generally just work days for me anyway. I'm not eating a ton. My breakfast is generally the same thing those days. My lunch is generally the same thing those days. And my dinner is really the only thing that varies on those days. So that was really motivating in the beginning. Towards the end of it, it becomes a damn chore to restrict those calories, and you just don't want to damn do it anymore. So it becomes a mental challenge. It really does. So that's just something to think about if you're considering this, is that in the beginning, it's much smoother than at the end. It's much harder. I would not recommend anybody do this more than 3 months. I think 3 months is peak duration. I wouldn't want to go into a 4th month of this. But it did help kickstart my excitement about dieting again and get me back on track when I had been in a plateau for damn near 3 months. Maybe lost a couple pounds, but I was in a pretty steady plateau for a while. So I do feel like it did kickstart things. It might have kickstarted my metabolism a little bit by, depleting that glycogen, then restoring it, then depleting it, then restoring it, then depleting it, then restoring it. Because I did see steady weight drop for a while. And I would recommend this to somebody who has been in a calorie deficit for a half a year or more, to change it up and stay in a calorie deficit, but do it differently so that the dieting felt different, right? So that, so it's a variety of dieting. And I don't think there's anything wrong with having a little variety in your dieting, especially whenever you're dieting for a very long time. When you're cutting for a year, like I did, have a little variety in there is not terrible. Going keto for a few months, I mean, it's not terrible. I wouldn't do that, but to each their own. Now, if you're not drinking the Mountain Dew Baja Blast Zero, something's wrong with you. You need to get on it. You need to go check yourself. Go get you a 12-pack of those. Start sucking them back, because those things are terrific. And I think that's the last thing that I want to leave you with is find some foods that are really enjoyable to you that you can eat on repeat, because that makes everything so much easier. And you're going to get tired of those foods that you eat on repeat. You might eat on repeat for, let's say, a month. And then you're going to need to find, something else. The best way to do it is probably every week to 2 weeks, cycling, what you're repeating. But for me, extra lean ground beef chili with beans, it's one of my number one goes to. Because I can make that, and I can make chili cheese burritos with low carb tortillas. I can make Frito chili pie, just so many different things that I can do with that. So that is the number one thing that I recommend, is find yourself some stuff like that you can eat on repeat. Other thing that I eat on repeat is strawberries, Greek yogurt with protein powder mixed in. That's phenomenal, terrific. Another thing I eat on repeat is protein pancakes. Love some protein pancakes. I love chips and dip, so I will eat the high protein chips. Then I will take cottage cheese, fat-free cheddar cheese, taco seasoning, blend those up together and make myself a queso and eat that. Salsa, love salsa. Guacamole, I love putting guacamole on various things. So I'll get those single serving size container guacamoles. I can just throw it on various things that I'm eating. Chili cheese burrito, want to put a half serving of guac on there, I can. Hummus, same thing. They come in the little pouches where you get a serving size. You know, you put that on all kinds. There's all kinds of stuff you put hummus on. But another thing that I like to eat on repeat. Bananas, apples. That's my other go-tos. Then, keto buns, turkey, fat-free American cheese. Those sandwiches, you can make like 3 of them and eat them for like 300 calories. Those are freaking terrific. So I throw those on repeat. And then also keto bread, French toast. I throw that on repeat. I love to eat that. Sugar-free Mrs. Butterworth. Sugar-free Mrs. Butterworth I found to be the absolute best syrup. But that's just my personal opinion. Let's see, other thing. Scrambled eggs in the morning, turkey bacon, center cut bacon. Started adding that in here lately. So just various things like that. So whatever you do, just have some stuff that's quick, easy, that you can eat, right? Canned chicken is really good because if you're running low on your protein and you need to get some, you can take canned chicken, you can drain it, put a little bit of Ray's barbecue, not Sweet Baby Ray's, low sugar version, 15 calories per serving. Put a serving of that in there, a little hot sauce, stir it up, eat it. You ain't got to warm it up. Eat it right out of the damn can, throw the can away. Pro move, right? No dishes to do. That will get your protein quickly. Same thing with a can of tuna fish. Take a can of tuna fish, mix it with mustard, put it on bread, eat it. Take a can of tuna fish, light mayonnaise, a little bit of relish. Mix that together. Throw you a hard-boiled egg in there if you want it. Now you got a tuna salad. Throw that on some bread and eat it, right? Eat it without bread, whatever. But those are some things that you can do. Another thing, this is a really good one. Get yourself some bone broth and instant mashed potatoes. And use the bone broth to make the instant mashed potatoes. And you will have a high protein mashed potato that's low calorie. And it's terrific. You can get all kinds of flavor. Bacon flavor, Vermont cheddar flavor, all these various flavors. And sometimes I will make regular mashed potatoes and then I'll make the instant mashed potatoes and then I'll mix the two together to make more volume, but to cut down on the calories a little bit. So that's another thing you can do. And then, make sure you're eating your veggies, your broccoli and your asparagus, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts. And I'm going to tell you how to do it. Just put them on a damn sheet pan, spray it down with some non-stick spray, the actual vegetables, spray the damn vegetables down with some cooking spray, salt, pepper, put it in the oven under the broiler until you burn the fucking top of it a little bit, and then eat it. It is freaking terrific. You're gonna love it. But lettuce, get you a big old bag of lettuce, throw a little bit of fat-free ranch dressing, Hidden Valley fat-free ranch dressing. That shit's on point. It's 30 calories. You can dip your wings in it. You can put it on your all kinds of stuff, right? But make that, eat it. Another thing you can do if you like dip, right? Get yourself some ranch seasoning. Get yourself some Greek yogurt. Mix the ranch season, the Greek yogurt together, a little bit of milk till you get it as thin as you want it. Now you have a high protein ranch dip. It's very good. So just do some of these things, and that will help you stay on track in your calorie deficit. I hope this video has helped you. I hope seeing the math and seeing how a bodybuilder decides what their micronutrients are going to be and how they're going to attack a period of dieting is helpful, and you're able to take it and utilize it in your own weight loss journey. But I think I'm going to go do some cardio. Then I think I'm going to come home and get me a good night's sleep. We're going to get up and do it all again tomorrow with arm day. Get a nasty, nasty, nasty arm pump in tomorrow. So I will see you guys tomorrow. Y'all have a wonderful night. And make sure you're dominating inside and outside of the gym at everything you do.